Joining us now, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. It's his first interview since the Iowa caucus. Donald, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going really good.
Okay, so let's talk about Iowa. What happened?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine, Joe.
Yeah. So the question is, you talked about it some last night. What's your postmortem on Iowa? What do you think happened there?
Well, I think that I did well there. I think that, I came in second place, a strong second place. I think that probably if I would have, I was told always that I could not do well in Iowa. I was told, don't go to Iowa. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, it's not your place, don't go there. I said, but I know people there. I think I'll do well. And I went there. I started in 10th place and went there. I came in. I ended up in second place. I guess there was a poll that came out that had me winning it by 4 or 5 points, a pretty close poll. But I came in second place, and, I'm happy with that. It's interesting that Marco came in third place, and they said it's one of the great victories in the history of politics. And I said, well, how come if he came in third place and I came in substantially better at second place, why isn't mine one of the great victories in the history of politics? And they said, no, his is, but yours isn't. I said, oh, that's wonderful. I didn't understand that. But, I came in second place. I was satisfied. I think probably it's a place I could have won if I really went there more and did a little more work there. But, I was satisfied with it.
So it's interesting because I've heard you talking about Iowa, and you said that before. It seems like, I guess I'd like to ask what you're learning along the way about what worked and what didn't work. It's not like you've done this before, so the second place finish is fairly incredible when you look at historic lines. But for example, what worked and what didn't work in Iowa? And I'm curious what you think about Sarah Palin's involvement. Was it a plus for Sarah Palin or a plus for you?
Well, it was a plus for Sarah, for Sarah to have her. I think she's a very good person. She's a terrific woman. I think it was a plus. I think it helped. I think it was very good for me. And certainly Ted Cruz would have liked to have had her. He wanted her very badly. But I think having Sarah was a plus.
So moving on to New Hampshire, what have you learned from Iowa that you're going to apply to New Hampshire, South Carolina, and other contests ahead?
Well, it's a little different because the caucus system is very complicated. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen with the caucus. You think everything's fine, and it's not like you walk in and you vote and you walk out. You're in and out in 10 minutes or 2 minutes. The caucus system is a complex system that I was never familiar with. I mean, I was never involved with the caucus system. Don't forget, Joe, I'm doing this for the first time. I'm like a rookie, and I'm learning fast, and I do learn fast. And I think we're doing, really, I think we did very well. Hey, look, there were many governors and many senators in Iowa that would have loved to have had the second place finish. I am doing, I think, really well in New Hampshire. The response is great. I don't know if you saw the speech I made last night, but we had 5,000 people there last night, packed into 2 big rooms, 2 massive rooms, actually. They were pretty big. And it was an amazing thing. Other people were up there 3-4 days before. They had 200 people and 159 people. And we had 5,000 people. It was an amazing event. And it had a great chemistry going last night.
Now let's go to Willie Geist in New York, who has a question. Willie.
Donald, good morning. Good to talk to you. Hello. Let's talk about what happened in Iowa just a little bit as it pertains to going to New Hampshire. You've obviously risen on the power of your personality and your big crowds, but Ted Cruz won Iowa based on his organization. He had people who've been working for months and months, getting out to precincts, making sure the voters came out. Do you feel in some ways you need to have a little bit more of a conventional campaign, which is to say more organization on the ground going forward and more of a team that's working on those kind of things?
Well, I think we could have used a better ground game, a term I wasn't even familiar with. When you hear ground game, you say, what the hell is that? Now I'm familiar with it. But, yeah, I think in retrospect we should have had a better ground game. I would have funded a better ground game, but, people told me my ground game was fine. And I think by most standards it was. Don't forget, in the history of Iowa, I got the most votes, other than one person, Ted. I got the most votes in the history of Iowa. for the Republican primary and caucus. I got a tremendous amount of votes. Nobody came close, so that's in history, other than the one person. So there was a lot of action. We had, I think, 50 or 60,000 people more voted than the last time, which is tremendous. And I think I'll take some of that credit. There was a lot of spirit. I think I brought something to the Republicans, and actually Ted had said this, and other people have said this, that, I had brought something. I brought a lot of people, a lot more eyeballs are going in and looking at what we're doing. And the crowds are much bigger. I think the crowds are bigger for everyone. The crowds are very big for me, but I think I've helped the crowds be bigger for everybody. So that's a great thing. Now, we had a record turnout, a record voter turnout in Iowa. My vote was a total record. I came in second place, and it was an easy second place. I won by more than 2,000 votes. People said that Marco, a good guy, but people said that Marco was right next to me. It was more than 2,000 votes away. That's a lot of votes. So I came in an easy second. And, the one thing that I had spoken to Joe about after it happened, I said, sort of strange, because when Marco came in third, they were saying it was unbelievable. In fact, if you would have thought he won. And I said, why are they so excited about Marco's third place finish? And then people spoke a little bit derisively about my second place finish. I said to myself, that's strange. I came in second, he came in third, and his is like this tremendous victory, and mine's not.
Donald, welcome to politics.
Exactly.
Howard Dean finished third in Iowa, and his campaign was over. And Marco Rubio finishes third in Iowa.
And Hillary Clinton celebrated without even knowing whether she actually won.
Right.
It's all expectations. Cookie
optics.
Mr. Trump, I have to get a little plug in here. ABC has a debate Saturday night. Are you going to show up?
Yes, I will. I will. We had a debate. A lot of people said maybe that caused me to go down a couple of points by that, because I like the debates. I've done well in the debates. I've won a lot of the debates. Some people said I've won all the debates. According to the polling, I've won all the debates. I do like doing it. I didn't know. What did I know about debating? That wasn't what I did for a living, and so I like it. But, I was not treated properly by Fox, and, with their memo. And I said, look, I'm not going to do it. And, I'm happy I didn't, because I raised $6 million for the vets. I had something that night. I had basically a fundraiser for the vets. And in a period of 1 hour, we raised $6 million. So I was very happy with that. And frankly, I don't think I would have given up a first versus second and not give the vets $6 million.